Student loan debt. Student loans, modern indentured servitude. Student loan debt grown. Well, I'd rather say that student loan debt has grown into a full-scale crisis across the United States and much of the Western world. Higher education was initially designed to train a relative small segment of the population to advance society through leadership, research, and skilled professions. Over the past few decades, however, the system has shifted dramatically. Colleges and universities, fueled by rising tuitions, declining public investment, and easy access to federal loans, has increasingly operated as a revenue-driven institution. Instead of serving primarily as centers of learning and public development, many now functions to mean that many colleges now function as financial engines that leave millions of students burdened with long-term debt. This was not the original intention of college. For many borrowers, the real trap begins only after they graduate or leave college. Once repayment starts, they quickly discover that monthly student loan bills consume so much of their income that there is little left for anything else. Buying a home or a reliable family car becomes unrealistic, and their limited work experience often restricts them to a lower paying entry-level jobs. As they struggle to make payments, interest continues to accumulate, often a rate that cancels out any progress they make. Instead of moving forward, many borrowers feel stuck in place, watching their balances barely shrink or even grow despite years of repayment. This is seen as a debt trap. Student loan wage garnishment is something that is currently increased under the Trump administration, but it's really been around for a long time. The garnishments plus the rising cost of living and the pressure to earn a college degree combine to make many borrowers feel trapped in a system they can't escape. These forces create a sense of financial servitude where people believe they are working only to service debt rather than build a stable life. This has many feeling as if they are in servitude or bondage. Senator Elizabeth Warren has repeatedly framed the student loan crisis as an economic threat and a systemic failure that harms many Americans. Her public statements emphasize three themes: the scale of the borrower's distress, the economic risk of widespread delinquency, and the needs for structural reform. To put that a little bit more easier to understand, the scale of the borrower distress. how the loans are affecting people that have them. The economic risk of widespread delinquency is how it's affecting the overall economy. When your society has less disposable income, people will visit restaurants less. They will buy things less. They will use less energy. They will travel less. They will buy new cars. They won't buy cars. Your economy will shrink instead of growing. And the need for structural reform has been talked about for years now. An example of this: a person getting a degree to be a teacher should not pay the same tuition a person is paying to be a doctor. Doctors make more. Doctors they must be educated. They must know what they're doing. Not that teachers don't, but if a teacher makes a mistake, they can go back and fix it. If a doctor makes a mistake, someone dies. Many students are currently increasingly turning to alternatives to the traditional four-year college path as the cost of higher education continues to rise. Options such as joining the military for the GI Bill, attending trade schools, working to save money before enrolling, or starting a community college offer more affordable or practical routes that help avoid large amounts of student debt. Students are encouraging. In addition, students are encouraged to use every available cost-saving strategies, such as scholarships. The importance of scholarships are more than ever needed. Work-study programs, buying used books, which is kind of harder now when buying used books as it used to be, because a lot of colleges are changing the books to where students can't just buy the same book from last year, because they changed the books. Yeah, they come out with a new edition. It's just the chapters are just mixed around and it's the same book. That's something that's being looked at by colleges every year. And that's just an example of why colleges cost more. It's the same book teaching the same thing, it's just a different edition. They just move around the chapters, or they change a couple paragraphs here or there. But it just shows that just how much college has become a business instead of for just the main goal is to educate people. But yeah, that's just the basic though. Students, they need to get scholarships, try a work-study program, have roommates, just try to minimize as least that they borrow as least as possible. Now the second issue is what happens, what do you do if you're already in the debt? Some people are already in it. Unfortunately, they made mistakes and now they're here. When graduates discover that their income can't keep up with their loan payments, they often turn to whatever option they can find to stay afloat. This is many recruits, officer corps, like a lot of the officers in the military, they are joining just to pay off their student loans. Others take on two jobs. Some people move back home with family or move in with friends, and they live together till they pay off. Sadly, many women are doing OnlyFans and have sugar daddies to help with the payments. Things you think women with college degrees would not have to do turn to selling their bodies in order to make payments, but it's being promoted and women are doing it. Some are succeeding and some it's just causing them a lot of issues. Even if they do manage to pay off the loan, they end up with another problem. And then a growing number simply give up and stop paying altogether, falling into default and facing wage garnishment or damaged credit.
Many people just see the cycle of when they tried to pay, and then when they see the interest rate just gobbled up all the payments they've sent in, it's like, why am I even paying this? Eventually, this will start to hurt our government and people that did not even attend college. The core idea is that paying off student debt ultimately comes down to two levers: earning more, spending less. But the reality around those levers is more complex and worth unpacking. Dave Ramsey talks about debt every day. Please read his book and watch his channel on YouTube. I highly suggest this. Every long term debt payoff strategy, whether student loans, credit cards, or a mortgage, relies on the same two forces: increase income throughout higher paying jobs, promotion, side work, military benefits, trade skills, entrepreneurship. Controlling spending by reducing living costs, avoiding lifestyle inflation, and directing more cash toward principal instead of interest. The biggest thing is the interest that is killing. If you can refinance to get a lower interest rate, that can help out a lot. I don't understand, especially with government loans, why the interest rate is so high. To me, the interest rate should be at the rate of inflation if the government truly cared. Hopefully, in time, government does change it to that. Real freedom begins the moment a person is no longer working to service a debt. For millions burdened by student loans, the path to freedom requires sacrifice, discipline, and willingness to confront the system that was never designed with their well being in mind. And that's something that people must know. This country needs people in debt. Many wealthy people get wealthy off people being in debt. The crazy interest rates, and it's not just with student loans. Student loans is one of the ways people there are businesses out here that make a lot of money, especially the non-governmental ones. Those private student loans, those are killers. And then you got the credit cards, you got the car loans, you got the housing. People are overpaying for houses and don't even know it because they really don't know what they're buying. This country wants you in debt. The world wants you in the debt. The world money supply runs off debt if you know a little bit more about money. Please look into this more and think before you take out any loan. Thank you.